Welcome to Listen and Sleep. Today, you will embark on a journey. There is no rush. Make yourself comfortable. Allow your body to relax. Let your breathing slow down. Right now, there is nothing important except this moment. This voice, this silence between words. Close your eyes if you wish, or simply gaze at one point, softly, without effort. We begin. Everything starts with a circle. Imagine a wheel. An old wooden wheel, the kind they made in ancient times. It turns slowly, almost silently, just the gentle creak of wood against wood. Round and round, again and again, no beginning, no ending, only movement, smooth, unstoppable, like the flow of a river, like the changing seasons, like the beating of a heart. You notice this turning everywhere. Look at nature. Spring arrives, filling the air with the scent of blooming gardens, moist earth, fresh greenery. Summer spreads with heat. Long days, the sound of cicadas in tall grass. Autumn paints the world in crisp and crimson, fills it with the smell of fallen leaves, cool evenings. Winter covers everything with a white blanket, brings the silence of snow, crunching underfoot, frosty air that burns the lungs. And then spring again, a new beginning. But is this truly a beginning, or the continuation of something that never stopped? The sun rises in the east, slowly ascending, flooding the sky with pink, gold, blue light. Rising higher, becoming hot, bright, unbearable. Then it begins to lean toward the west, softens, painting clouds in scarlet and orange. It disappears beyond the horizon. Night falls, dark, deep, filled with stars and silence. And then, in the east, light appears again, a thin strip of dawn. And everything begins anew. Day after day, thousands of days, millions of sunrises, the same, yet always different. The ocean breathes. The tide comes in, waves rise, roll on to shore, leaving traces of foam, shells, seaweed on the sand. Water approaches, covers stones, fills hollows in the rocks. And then it begins to retreat, slowly, unhurried. Sand is exposed, stones appear, puddles remain with small fish trapped until the next tide. Low tide. A pause. and again the water begins to return. This rhythm never stops. It was here before you. It will be here after. You inhale. Air fills your lungs. Chest rises. Oxygen flows through your body. A pause. You exhale. Air leaves. Chest falls. Carbon dioxide departs from the body. A pause. And another breath. This cycle repeats every second, every minute, every hour, 20,000 times a day. You do not think about it. It happens by itself. The breath of life, a circle that began with your first cry and will end with your last exhale. But does it truly end? Everything turns. The moon orbits Earth. Earth orbits the sun. The sun moves through the galaxy. The galaxy flies through space. The atoms in your body were once part of stars. They exploded, scattered, gathered again, became planet, water, plant, animal. You. Someday, they will become something else. The circle continues, always continues. Ancient people looked at this, at the changing of day and night, at birth and death, at how a seed becomes a plant. The plant bears fruit. Fruit falls to earth. New plants grow from them. They saw the circle. They felt it in their lives. Birth, childhood, youth, maturity, old age, death. And then what? The end? Or another beginning? Perhaps life is also a wheel that turns? Perhaps death is not a stop, but a transition, like winter transitioning to spring? In ancient India, people called this Samsara, a soft word, flowing, like the idea itself. Samsara, cycle, wandering, the endless turning of the wheel of life, death, and rebirth. They looked at the world and saw not one life, but many, countless numbers, like waves in the ocean. One rises, breaks on shore, disappears. But the water does not disappear. It returns to the ocean and becomes a new wave. Can you imagine this? Not as religious dogma, not as something you need to believe, but as an image, as a way of seeing life. Imagine that your life is not a straight line from birth to death, but a point on a circle, one of infinite points, and the wheel continues to turn. What does this change? How does this feel? Perhaps there is comfort in this. No final end. Everything continues. Energy does not disappear, only transforms. Your life, your essence, your consciousness, they are part of this great cycle. Like a drop in a river, it moves, changes shape, evaporates, becomes a cloud, falls as rain, returns to the river again. Did the drop disappear, or did it simply change? Or perhaps there is anxiety in this. No final end. Everything continues. Again and again. Birth, life, suffering, death, birth. Again, endlessly. Like a prisoner who cannot escape a labyrinth. Like a runner who runs in circles and cannot stop. The wheel turns, and you turn with it. Both thoughts are true. Samsara can be comfort and burden, hope and fear. It depends on how you look, on whether you are attached to the wheel or simply observing it, on whether you fight the turning or move with it. But right now, you do not need to decide. Right now, simply feel the cycle, the rhythm, the breath of life that is greater than you and at the same time is you. Imagine that it is deep night now. You stand on a hilltop somewhere in ancient India. The air is warm, humid, smells of jasmine and distant fires. The sky is studded with stars, so many that they merge into a milky river of light. Somewhere below, you hear the sound of a river, unhurried, soothing. You look at these stars and think about time. How many lives have already passed under this sky? How many more will pass? The wheel turns, slowly, inevitably, beautiful and strange. You are part of this wheel. Your breath is its spoke. Your heartbeat is its rhythm. No need to understand. No need to control. Simply feel how it carries you. Like a wave carries a boat, up, down, forward, in a circle. And in this movement, there is something like dance, something like music, something like peace. Several thousand years passed since a child was born in ancient India. This was long ago, so long ago that no one remembers the exact date. Perhaps 563 years before our era. Perhaps a little earlier. Perhaps a little later. Time flowed differently there. People did not count years as we do. They counted seasons, monsoons, harvests, festivals of gods. Time was circular, not linear, like life itself. This child was named Siddhartha. The name means one who has achieved his goal. A strange name for an infant who had not yet taken a single step. But the boy's father was a ruler. He governed a small kingdom at the foot of the Himalayas, where rivers ran cold and fast from the mountains, where forests were thick and full of life, where the air smelled of spices and rain. The father wanted his son to become a great king. He wanted him to be happy. He wanted to protect him from everything that could cause pain. The palace was built like a garden. High walls, gates that were always closed. Inside, mango trees bloomed. Jasmine filled the air with sweet fragrance. Fountains bubbled day and night. Peacocks walked the paths, spreading their tails. Servants smiled. Musicians played. Dancers moved smoothly, like wind. Food was always fresh, abundant, prepared by the finest cooks. Silk clothing, soft cushions, everything a person could want. Everything except truth. Because the father was afraid. Once, shortly after Siddhartha's birth, a wise man came. An old man with a long gray beard and eyes that had seen more than necessary. He looked at the infant and said, "This child will become either a great king or a great teacher. If he sees the suffering of the world, he will leave the throne and go seeking truth." The father heard this and decided his son would not see suffering. Never. He would live in paradise where there is no pain, sickness, old age, and death. And Siddhartha grew in this garden. He learned to read ancient texts written in Sanskrit, the language of gods and scholars. He learned to shoot a bow, throw a spear, fight with swords. He studied the art of ruling people, laws of justice, ways of resolving disputes. He was surrounded by beauty. He was surrounded by youth. Everyone who served in the palace was young, healthy, smiling. The sick were removed. The old were hidden. The dead were taken away at night so no one would see. He married a beautiful girl named Yashodhara. They loved each other as people love in youth, brightly, recklessly, not thinking about tomorrow. They had a son. They named him Rahula, which means bonds. Siddhartha's father was pleased. Now his son would not leave. He had a wife, child, kingdom he would inherit. The wheel would continue turning. Life would go on as usual. But something inside Siddhartha gave no peace. He was 29 years old. His entire life he had spent behind palace walls. He had seen only beauty, only joy, only youth. But sometimes, at night, he would wake and look out the window at stars. Sometimes he heard sounds from beyond the walls, incomprehensible, disturbing. Sometimes he caught strange expressions on servants' faces, something they tried to hide but could not hide completely. And he began to ask, what is there beyond the walls? What is the world really like? The father could no longer refuse. He allowed his son to leave the palace, but he ordered servants to clear all roads, decorate the city. Let there be flowers, music, dancing everywhere. Let him see only the best. And they did just that. They prepared a route where everything shone, smelled, sounded, where people smiled and waved, where life seemed like a celebration. Siddhartha rode out. The chariot rolled along wide roads, past decorated houses, past blooming gardens. He looked around, rejoiced, saw beauty. But suddenly, at a turn, right by the roadside, he saw a person, an old man, bent, gray, with wrinkled skin, trembling hands, toothless mouth. The old man walked slowly, leaning on a stick, each step given with difficulty. Siddhartha stopped the chariot. "What is this?" he asked the charioteer. "Who is this person?" "This is an old man, master," answered the charioteer quietly. "Old man? What does this mean?" "It means he has lived many years. His body has weakened. He can no longer run, work, rejoice as before. This happens to everyone, Master. Old age comes to each person." Siddhartha was silent. He looked at the old man, who slowly disappeared around the bend. "Will it come to me too?" he asked finally. "Yes, Master, to you too." They rode further, but joy was gone. Siddhartha looked at the world with different eyes. On the next trip, he saw a sick person. A man lay by the road, writhing in pain, groaning, his body covered with sores. "What is wrong with him?" asked Siddhartha. "He is sick," answered the charioteer. "Sickness comes suddenly. It spares neither rich nor poor. Can it come to me too?" "Yes, Master." The third time, he saw a funeral procession. They carried a body wrapped in white cloth. Relatives walked behind the stretcher, cried, wailed. "What is this?" asked Siddhartha. "This is a dead person," answered the charioteer. "His life has ended. He no longer breathes, feels, thinks. Will I die too?" "Yes, Master. Everyone dies." Siddhartha returned to the palace. He looked at his wife, at his son, at the luxury around him. But all this seemed ghostly to him now, like scenery in a theater, beautiful but not real, because behind them hid the truth: old age, sickness, death, the wheel that turns and brings everyone to the same thing, to decay, to disappearance, to suffering. But there was one more meeting. The fourth time, leaving the palace, he saw a person. This person was not old, not sick, not dead. He was calm, an ascetic, monk, wanderer. His clothing was simple, just a piece of yellow cloth. His head was shaved. He walked slowly, attentively, with a begging bowl in his hands. But on his face was something: peace, serenity, light that did not depend on external circumstances. "Who is this?" asked Siddhartha. "This is a person who left home to seek truth. He seeks liberation from suffering." Liberation from suffering. Is this possible? "He says it is possible, Master." Siddhartha looked long at the retreating figure of the monk. And in that moment, something changed. Not outside, inside. He understood. He could no longer live in the palace, could not pretend that everything was fine when he knew that old age, sickness, and death awaited everyone. He must find an answer. He must understand. Why is the world arranged this way? Why is there suffering? And is there a way to be freed from it? At night, when everyone slept, he rose. He approached his wife, his son. They breathed evenly, calmly, not knowing what was happening. He looked at them for a long time. Love for them tore his heart. But the thirst for truth was stronger. He could not stay. If he stayed, he would torment himself his whole life with questions that had no answers. If he left, perhaps he would find something that would help not only him, but them and everyone else. He kissed them without waking them. He left the palace. He mounted his horse and rode. Through gates, through the city, away from the kingdom, away from everything he knew. He left behind luxury, power, love, family. He left behind the name of prince. He became nobody, simply a person seeking an answer. The air was cold. Stars shone overhead, countless, indifferent. The wheel of samsara continued to turn, but he decided to understand this wheel, to understand how it works, and whether it is possible to step off it. Imagine you have rooms. You move from one to another, again and again. Each room is different. In one, it is bright and joyful. You feel on top of the world. In another, it is dark and scary. You suffocate from anxiety. In the third, you are an ordinary person, not too happy, not too unhappy, just living day by day. In the fourth, you feel like an animal, guided only by instincts. In the fifth, you are tormented by hunger that cannot be satisfied. In the sixth, you burn with pain, and you move from room to room, not controlling when or where you will end up. This is the wheel of existence. In ancient India, they spoke of 6 worlds, 6 spheres through which every living being passes, being born again and again. These are not places you can physically go to. These are states, states of mind, states of being, levels of consciousness through which we move, sometimes in one lifetime, sometimes across many lifetimes. the wheel turns, and you find yourself now here, now there, depending on what you did, what you thought, what you felt. The first world, the highest, is the world of gods, Devaloka. Imagine paradise, light, music, incredible beauty. No pain, no suffering, only pleasure. God live long, very long, hundreds, thousands of years. They feast, dance, love, rest. Time flows slowly. Everything comes easily. You can want anything and it appears. Sounds wonderful, right? This is happiness. This is what everyone strives for. But ancient teachers said the world of gods is dangerous, because there they forget. They forget that nothing is eternal. They forget about suffering that exists in other worlds. They forget that one needs to grow, change, seek truth. Gods live in bliss so long that they stop thinking. Why think when everything is already good? Why seek when everything is already there? But one day, their time ends. Accumulated good karma is exhausted, and they fall from light into darkness, from bliss into suffering. And this fall is even more terrible because they forgot what pain is. Do you know this feeling? When everything goes well, too well. You are happy, relaxed, not worried about anything. And suddenly, something breaks. A problem at work, illness of a loved one, betrayal of a friend. And you fall, sharply, painfully. And it seems the world has collapsed because you forgot it could be different. This is the world of gods, bliss that makes you blind. The second world, slightly lower, is the world of demigods, Asura Loka. They are called asuras, strong, proud, ambitious beings. They have it good, but not as good as the gods. And this torments them. They look up and see the world of gods. They want to be there. They envy. They rage. They constantly fight, trying to capture the heavens, overthrow the gods, take their place. But they never win, because their energy goes to fighting, not growing. They are too busy competing to find peace. Do you know this state? When you look at others and think, why do they have it and I do not? Why are they more successful, more beautiful, happier? You begin to compare constantly. Every social media post, every stranger's luck, every praise addressed to someone else. Jealousy eats from within. You cannot rejoice in what you have because you are too busy with what others have. This is the world of demigods, endless war that never brings victory. The third world, in the middle, is the world of humans, Manusha Loka, our world. Here there is both joy and suffering. Here there is birth and death. Here there are opportunities and limitations. Human life is short. A few dozen years, no more. But ancient teachers said precisely the human world is most valuable. Why? Because here there is balance, not too much happiness to forget, not too much suffering to lose hope. Enough of both to want to understand what is happening. Why am I here? How should I live? Only in the human world can one awaken. Only here is there the ability to reflect, ask questions, seek meaning. Gods are too intoxicated with bliss. Demigods are too absorbed in battles. Animals are too governed by instincts. Hungry spirits are too obsessed with desire. Hell dwellers are too immersed in pain. Only humans are in that place where one can stop and look at oneself, at the world, at the wheel that turns, and decide, do I want to continue turning, or do I want to understand how to stop? You are here, now. You are human, and this is not by chance. The ancients said being born human is as rare as a turtle swimming in a boundless ocean, accidentally sticking its head through a hole in a piece of wood floating on the surface. Feel this, the rarity of this moment, the value of this life. You have consciousness. You have the ability to choose. You have the capacity to change. Do not waste this. The fourth world, lower, is the world of animals, Tiryakloka. Here they live by instincts, food, sleep, reproduction, defending territory. No reflections on meaning, no plans for the future, only here and now, but not conscious here and now, but instinctive. Run from danger, seek food, rest when tired. Animals are not evil or good. They simply live, following their nature. But people also sometimes fall into this state when they stop thinking, when they live on autopilot, woke up, ate, went to work, returned, ate, watched something, fell asleep, repeat, day after day, year after year. No questions, no changes, just existence. This is also the world of animals, not physical, but mental. When the mind falls asleep and only habits remain. The fifth world is the world of hungry spirits, Pritaloka. They are called Pritas. They have huge bellies and thin necks. They are eternally hungry, but cannot satisfy hunger. The throat is too narrow to swallow enough food. They see food, water, but cannot be satisfied. Eternal thirst, eternal desire, never satisfied. Have you felt this? You want something. You get it. But pleasure lasts a minute, and immediately you want something else. New phone, new clothes, new relationship, new job, more money, more recognition, more. But satiation does not come, because the hole inside is not filled with things. It is filled only with understanding. That happiness is not in getting, but in stopping wanting. The world of hungry spirits is addiction to food, to sex, to alcohol, to approval, to love, to anything. When you do not control desire, but desire controls you. The sixth world, the lowest, is the worlds of hell. Narakaloka, not one hell, but many. Cold hells where you freeze, hot hells where you burn, hells where they cut you, hells where they crush you. Endless pain, endless torment. Time there flows slowly. 1 second of suffering stretches into years. You cannot run away, cannot die, only feel pain. Again and again. It sounds terrible, but this is also metaphor. Have you been in this state? When pain is so strong that it seems the world has shrunk to the size of this pain. Depression, panic attack, strong grief, physical pain that does not let go, you cannot think of anything else. Time stops. Every minute lasts eternity. This is hell, not a place after death, but a state here and now, when suffering absorbs everything. 6 worlds, 6 states. You move through them every day. In the morning, you woke up in good mood, world of gods. Someone angered you, world of demigods. Then you just live, world of humans. Then you mindlessly eat in front of the TV, world of animals. Then you want more and more of something, world of hungry spirits. Then anxiety covers you, world of hells. And again, in circles, the wheel turns. You spin with it. But here is the secret. These worlds are not punishment and not reward. They simply are, like weather, sometimes sun, sometimes rain, sometimes wind, sometimes snow. Weather changes, but sky remains. You can learn to look at your states like weather. Notice, now I am in this world, now in that. Do not get stuck. Do not cling. Simply observe, like clouds pass, like seasons change, like the wheel turns. And in the observation, space appears, small, quiet, between you and the wheel. You no longer identify with it completely. You see, I am not this wheel. I am the one who watches. I am the one who notices. I am the one who breathes in the middle of all these worlds. And this is the beginning of freedom. 3 poison. 3 forces that turn the wheel. 3 reasons why you again and again fall into the same situations, experience the same emotions, repeat the same mistakes. They are called kleshas, a soft word, almost tender, but it means something heavy. Pollutions of the mind, that which muddies the water of consciousness, that which does not allow clear seeing. The first poison is attachment, desire, thirst. In Sanskrit, it is called Trishna. Imagine thirst in the desert. Your throat is parched, lips cracked. You see water, you run to it. You drink. For a moment, relief. But then thirst returns. Again. Again. You cannot drink your fill. because it is not water that quenches thirst, but thirst itself creates itself anew. You want something constantly. You want this moment to last longer if it is pleasant. You want it to end faster if it is unpleasant. You want what is not there. You want more even when there is enough. You want different even when it is not needed. You want people to be different. You want life to be different. You want yourself to be different. This thirst is subtle. It hides behind reasonable explanations. I just want to be happy. I just want better for my family. I just want the world to be more just. All this sounds right. But inside, in the very depths, lurks clinging. I want it to be this way, not that way. I do not accept what is. I demand changes. And when the world does not obey, I suffer. Attachment does not mean love. This is important to understand. You can love someone without clinging to them. You can value something without demanding it be eternal. Attachment is when you say, I need this for happiness. Without this, I cannot manage. This must be mine. This is fear of losing, fear of not getting, tension in the chest when thinking about possible loss, cramp in the stomach when unable to get what is desired. Look carefully at your desires. Do not judge them. Simply look. Notice when want arises, when hands reach to take, when mind begins planning how to obtain, when anxiety appears that it will not work out. Simply notice. This is attachment, one of 3 poisons. It turns the wheel. It throws you from one world to another. Because while you want, you will be born again. To get, to try once more, to finally be satisfied. But satisfaction does not come through possession, only through letting go. The second poison is anger, aversion, hatred. In Sanskrit, dvesha. This is not just rage. This is everything that repels. Irritation, dissatisfaction, disgust, fear. Everything that makes you say, go away. Disappear. I do not want to see you. I do not want this to be. Anger seems strong. It gives energy, a sense of rightness. You are angry because someone acted wrongly. You are outraged because the world is unjust. You hate because they caused pain. And this is justified, right? Should you not defend yourself? Should you not fight injustice? But look what anger does to you. Heart beats faster. Breathing becomes irregular. Muscles tense. Thoughts dart like birds in a cage. You lose clarity. You say things you later regret. You do things that cause pain not only to others, but to you. Anger promises strength, but gives weakness. It makes you a slave to reaction. Someone said a word, and you flared up. Someone did something, and you exploded. Control is in others' hands, not in yours. And anger turns the wheel, because every action performed in anger leaves a trace. Karma, a seed that will sprout in the future. You shout at someone. This shout does not disappear. It creates tension that will return to you. Maybe immediately, maybe in years, but it will return, because the wheel is just, not in the sense of punishment, but in the sense of law. What you sow, you reap. Look at your anger. When does it appear? What do you react to? Perhaps to what threatens your self-image. Perhaps to what reminds of old pain. Perhaps to what you cannot control. Anger is often fear in another form. Fear that you are not loved. Fear that you will be rejected. Fear that you are not good enough. And instead of meeting the fear, you attack. This is defense. But it does not work, because the enemy is not outside. It is inside, in your misunderstanding of how the world works. The third poison is ignorance, not knowing, illusion. In Sanskrit, avidya, the root of all other poisons. If attachment and anger are branches, then ignorance is the root. You do not see things as they are. You see them through the filter of your ideas, your desires, your fears. You take temporary for permanent, suffering for happiness, illusion for reality. Ignorance does not mean stupidity. You can be very smart, educated, successful, and still dwell in ignorance, because ignorance is not absence of information. It is misunderstanding the nature of things. You think I am this body. I am these thoughts. I am these emotions. I am this personality. And you cling to this, defend it, inflate it. But ancient teachers looked carefully and said, "Where are you? Show me. Where in the body are you located? In the head? In the heart? In every cell? Or outside the body? And if you are these thoughts, then which thought are you? The one that was a minute ago and disappeared? The one that is now? The one that has not yet arisen?" The more they looked, the less they found. There is no permanent self. There is prasa, flow, a river that flows but into which you cannot step twice. The water is always new. So are you. Every moment new. Cells renew. Thoughts change. Emotions come and go. Where are you in this flow? Perhaps you are the flow itself, or that which observes the flow. Ignorance says this is mine, this life, this house, these people, these things, these ideas, and you hold on to them because you think they constitute you. But everything you hold slips away. People leave. Things break. The body ages. Ideas become outdated. And you suffer because you do not understand the main thing. Nothing is permanent. Everything changes. Everything flows. Everything dissolves. But there is no tragedy in this. There is freedom. If nothing is permanent, then suffering is not permanent either. If everything changes, then you can change too. If there is no fixed self, then there is no fixed destiny. The wheel turns, but it is not fatal. You can choose, in every moment, how to react, what to nourish in yourself, where to direct attention. 3 poisons: attachment, anger, ignorance. They work together. Ignorance creates the illusion of separate self. This self wants pleasure and avoids pain. Attachment to pleasant and anger at unpleasant arise. And these 2 poisons strengthen ignorance because they muddy the water of consciousness, do not allow clear seeing. A closed circle. Wheel within wheel. But you can break this circle, not by force, not by struggle, but by attention, simply noticing. Here is attachment. Here is anger. Here is ignorance. Do not call them enemies. They are not enemies. They are teachers. They show where you are still sleeping, where you have not yet awakened. Every time you notice poison, you take a step toward awakening. A small step, but a step. Karma, a familiar word. Everyone has heard of it. But what does it really mean? Not punishment from gods, not retribution for sins, not mystical force that watches you. Karma is simply law, the law of cause and effect, as natural as gravity, as the changing of day and night, as the flow of river to sea. Imagine you throw a stone into a quiet lake. The stone falls. Circles spread across the water. Small waves reach the shore. Reflect. Return back. Mix with new circles from other stones. Water gradually calms, but it is no longer the same. Something changed, invisibly, imperceptibly, but it changed. So is karma. Every action of yours is a stone. Every word, every thought, they create waves. These waves spread, touch other people, other situations, other moments in time, and return to you. Not instantly, not always obviously, but they return because everything is connected. You are not a separate island. You are part of the ocean. Everything you do affects everything else. Karma, in translation, means action. Simply action. Not good, not bad. A neutral word. But every action has consequences. If you plant an apple seed, an apple tree will grow. If you plant a thorn seed, a thorn bush will grow. An apple seed cannot grow into a thorn bush, and a thorny seed cannot grow into an apple tree. Law of nature, law of karma. You act with kindness, help someone, speak gentle words, think bright thoughts. These are seeds. They sprout. Maybe not immediately, maybe not where you expect, but they sprout. Kindness returns, help returns, gentleness returns, not as reward, but as natural consequence. You sowed this. This is what grew. You act with anger, cause pain, speak harsh words, think dark thoughts. These are also seeds. They sprout. Anger returns. Pain returns. Harshness returns. not as punishment, but as natural consequence. You sowed this. This is what grew. But karma is not fatal. This is important. Many think karma means fate, that everything is predetermined, that if you feel bad now, it means you did something bad in past life and nothing can be changed. But this is wrong understanding. Karma is not sentence. It is process. You sow. You harvest. You sow again. You harvest again. The cycle continues. But you can choose what to sow. In every moment. Now. You have old seeds. Sown yesterday, day before yesterday, years ago, maybe even in past lives, if you believe in rebirth. These seeds sprout. Situations come into your life. People, events, problems, joys. You do not control what will sprout, but you control how you will react. And this reaction is new seed, new karma. If someone hurt you, this may be result of old karma, a seed you once sowed sprouting. But how will you react? Will you respond with hurt? Sow new seed of anger? Or will you respond with understanding? Sow seed of forgiveness. The choice is yours. Past influences present, but does not dictate it. Present influences, future. And this is your power. 3 types of karma. First, that which has already ripened. Prarabdha karma, fruits of past actions manifesting now. Your body, your family, your country, circumstances of birth, some illnesses, some meetings. You did not choose this. This came from the past. You cannot change it. You can only accept. Work with what is. Second, that which is accumulated, but not yet manifested. Sanchita karma, huge storehouse of seeds. Some will sprout in this life, some in the next. Some maybe never, if you change course. This is like seeds in a barn. They wait their time, wait for suitable conditions. You do not see them, but they are there. And they can sprout when conditions ripen. Third, that which you create now. Kriyamana karma, current actions. This moment, this word, this thought, this decision. This is your freedom. This is your power. You cannot change the past. Future is unpredictable. But now you choose. You plant new seeds, good or bad, light or dark. What do you want to grow? What kind of garden do you want to have in the future? Some think if everything is karma, there is no point in trying. Whatever will be anyway. But this is escape from responsibility. Karma says the opposite. Everything matters. Every action is important. Every word creates waves. Every thought leaves trace. You are creator of your life, not completely, not omnipotent, but creator, to the extent that you choose how to act, speak, think. Others think you need to strive for good karma. Do good deeds. Help people. Be good. And then there will be happy life, better rebirth, heaven. But ancient teachers said even good karma is karma. It binds. Golden chain is lighter than iron, but still chain. While you strive for result, while you act for reward, you turn on the wheel, maybe in upper worlds, in world of gods, but still on the wheel. Freedom is not in doing only good and avoiding bad. Freedom is in acting without attachment to result, doing what needs to be done because it is right, not because you expect reward. Loving not for love in return. Helping not for gratitude. Speaking truth not for approval. Acting from clarity, not from desire. Then action does not create new seeds, or create such seeds that sprout easily, without pain, without attachment. This is called nishkama karma, action without desire for fruits. Difficult? Yes. Almost impossible in the beginning, because mind is used to wanting, used to waiting, used to evaluating. Did good, wait for gratitude. Did not receive, get offended. But you can learn. Small steps. Do something kind and let go. Do not seek recognition. Do not tell about it. Do not expect response. Simply do and forget. Like rain falls on earth and does not wait for earth to say thank you. Karma is purified, not by prayers, not by rituals, not by sacrifices, but by understanding. When you see how the law of cause and effect works, you become more attentive. You think before acting. You choose words carefully. You observe thoughts. Because you know everything returns, not from fear of punishment, but from respect for law, for interconnection of all existence. And karma teaches patience. Seeds do not sprout immediately. Sometimes years pass, decades, lifetimes. You do not see result of your actions immediately. But this does not mean there is none. The seed just needs time. It needs suitable soil. It needs water, sun, air. Everything will come in its time. Do not hurry. Do not doubt. Simply continue sowing good seeds. And water will calm. Circles will disappear. Trace on water will dissolve. And silence will remain. Pure, serene, free.